Okay, I got the information.
Setting up your meeting on YouTube Live.
I'm just gonna grab the link once it comes up.
Setting up your meeting on YouTube Live. Okay.
We'll give it a couple minutes for people to come in. I'm just
Great.
gonna post the link in the Discord.
All right. Couple minutes in. I'm not seeing any chat questions come through yet.
I saw one come up so far.
Oh, I saw Denver said
Denver,
hello.
yes.
Hello. What do you say? One more minute?
Yeah, we'll give him one more minute. Just gonna organize questions that came in so far.
Yep. I want to make sure everybody knows we have a hard stop at an hour on this one. I know previously we've always gone over 30 to 60 minutes. This one is it's a straight hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, what do you say we get started then?
Ready to go.
All right, welcome everyone to another Ask Me Anything with the CEO of AITX, Steve Reinhardt. My name is Craig Peterson. I'm a long-term investor of AITX. I also am a member of the board of advisors, and I manage the official AITX Discord. I'd like to remind everyone to subscribe and sign up for notifications to this YouTube channel and stay up to date. All right, Steve, before we start questions, would you like to talk about ISC West any?
Absolutely, I do. Yeah, and thank you very much, Craig, and everybody who's here and who's rolling in right now. I'll add to Craig's comment of subscribing to the YouTube channels and my Instagram and so forth, and I'll go and I'll say share it. You know, share it with your friends. You've been on the journey. We've got the credibility and consistency and performance with you, and if you like it, introduce others to the company. That's really a big part of our community, sharing the right information with other people that we care about. So ISC West show last week, you know, I had, you know, because you have an executive team, right, in the company, and there's various expectations that we might set, and some people are more involved and some people are less involved, right? So some people are more connected and less connected. I was in the middle, you know. There are definitely, you know, guys like our chief marketing officer and VP of sales, senior VP of sales that were really deeply involved. And then, you know, I was doing some stuff, but I wasn't as involved. And I went in with reasonable expectations, I thought. It was our third show that we've exhibited at. So our third ISC that we exhibited at. We exhibited at our first in 2017, our second in 2018, and then kind of the bottom dropped out, and we spent a few years rebuilding, rewriting, repositioning. And so I thought that, or my expectation for this show was that we were going to come in, we were going to be an important presence, but that we wouldn't necessarily be like overall huge talk of the town. You know, I wouldn't think that that would happen. Doug certainly did, but he's much closer to it than I am. The way that it ended up, and I was talking about this with Mark, our president, on my Sunday morning calls that I have with him, the show really felt to be a breakout for the company, a really special show, a real breakout. And we judge that by not just the quantity, but the quality of the leads that went out of their way to find us was just remarkable. I'm still getting my head around it. We're still all getting our heads around it. And we're like, you know, thank goodness we have invested and built our teams, because we have, you know, a handful of amazing and qualified business development managers to plow through these leads and to do the follow-up and to close the deals. So a lot of the investments that we made last year, kind of betting on the, if we're going to do a craps Vegas analogy, you know, betting on the come, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those bets are proving to be good. Very similar to the bet that we made on the Rex about a little over a year ago, when we said, hey, we're going to need this space, but we don't have the orders, but we're going to get the orders. We got this. We got the space. Thank goodness. Now we got the staff. We built the expertise. Now we have the volume of team to manage what came in the door, which was pretty spectacular. The intensity of the meetings, quality of the meetings, and by intensity I mean we weren't there, you know, selling core functionality. The clients already knew that coming in. We're talking next level. Like, we're already on a little further down the sales cycle, or the sales process. So that was great. Our president, Mark, you know, the days are from breakfast to after dinner of meetings and, you know, communicating with people and seeing old friends and meeting new ones. Because I've been going to the show for 25 years. Very intense, very long, very energizing. Mark is in the elevator like, I don't know, 11 or 12 o'clock at night. Maybe not that late. We go to bed a little early. But anyways, late at night. And random guy, unknown to us, gets in the elevator with him at the Venetian and says, man, how many people from Rad are here? Because you guys are everywhere. And that kind of summed up how it felt. The first 2 days of the show, the first day of the show, our booth was shoulder to shoulder, packed, wall to wall, 2 customers deep. And, you know, the way the show works is you've got some big players like Bosch, you know, just big industry players that have been there for decades and spend $1 million on their booth and stuff like that. They got the prime positions, right? So the newer players like us were on the fringes, just how it works. So it takes a little bit to get to us. And they're lined up 2-3 deep on day 1. It was incredible. Day 2, and this is how it always goes. It's always like first day is best day, and then second day, and then third day. Second day, I was like, okay, this is incredible. Like, for me, after I finished the Tuesday, after I did the lecture and I saw a whole bunch of people on Tuesday before the show even opened, I think I may have tweeted or told people, I said, hey, if the show is over, I'm happy. Like, I've already accomplished what we needed before the show opened. And then Thursday comes along and the show's not as busy as Wednesday. And we are still packed. We're not as packed as Wednesday, which was ridiculous. But every one of our team members is engaged basically all day long with qualified prospects. I think we brought, I want to say about 12 people, 12 Rad employees. One of them went home after setup on the implementation side. One of them stayed a day. One of them was kind of in and out. I was a little bit in and out. So I think we probably had maybe like 8 or 9 consistently working. And there'll be a press release this week where we share a little bit of what I expect are kind of the preliminary results, so to speak. So I don't know. I mean, it felt great. It felt great, Craig. It really did. I'm still shaking my head and yeah, after the show, I bounced back to the implementation and production guys, and I said, guys, our biggest hopes and our worst nightmares might be coming true if these orders start turning. So that's what I got.
Sounds like it was a huge success.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Now our team is focusing on pivoting towards follow-up, closing, delivering, implementing, making customers happy. So we spent a moment congratulating ourselves on a great show, and now it's back to the grind to make this investment profitable for the company, and to make customers happy really is what it's always about.
Okay, let's start with some questions. So we're going to go over the questions. I'll ask you some questions, and any ones we don't get to this week, we'll push them to next month. How's that sound?
It works for me. Yeah. And
Okay.
you know, listen, from time to time, I dip into the Discord or on Twitter, and I'll pick some questions here and there depending on how my day or schedule's going. So it's not like you don't see me, you know, between the AMAs. I'm around.
Yeah. All right. First one is from Sharks Mom 2. Curious to as where we are at with the process with Rad Light My Way. Do you expect companies who provide this to have NDAs?
So Sharks Mom, I've loved your support and interaction over the past month at least. So it's cool that you're here and asking the question. Thank you. You know, Rad Light My Way, by the nature of the type of solution that it is, will be public. Mainly because you know, you're giving the application to normal people. Like normal people, I mean not security staff. You're giving it to regular staff and shoppers and students and stuff like that. So I expect also that the first campuses that are going to use it are going to want to promote it. And that's been in line with the conversations that we've had with the first, you know, 12 customers or so that are kind of hotter than others in the funnel. There was one client who came by, or one prospect who came by at the show. I didn't handle them personally. You know, I mean, I had more than half a dozen people handling accounts personally. I was bouncing around as much as I could. And a very, 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 very well-known college in the United States. So that was kind of a bit of an exciting buzz, and they'll be public on it. So Rad Light My Way is ready to go from a tech standpoint. We were demoing it live all day. I was demoing it from my phone sometimes. Sometimes I was demoing it from, you know, kind of little stanchion setup that we had at the site there. But it's awesome. The team did awesome on it. It kind of looks like this. Let's see if it kind of looks like that.
Okay.
Kind of super cool. And then, you know, you could push activate Rad Light My Way, and it's just the people everybody just loved it. You know,
That's great to hear.
Yeah, it's an exciting one for us. Great question. Thanks.
Follow-up question from Oscar about Rad Light My Way. We were told about Rad Light My Way marketing campaign. What does it entail, and what types of potential customers were inquiring about it at the show?
Rad Light My Way is absolutely our most comprehensive marketing effort. in the company. And that is because the dynamics of Rad Light My Way are such that we can use non-purchasing influencers to encourage end users to move forward. So what that means in English is there's sorority groups, there's student council groups, there's parent-teacher groups, there's alumni groups who want and need this. Whereas the, boards of schools might be hesitant because, whatever, these people's jobs are not necessarily innovation adaptation. They've got other goals. So the marketing campaign includes reaching out to those groups, to those influencer groups, as well as I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I tweeted some coverage that we've been getting in the campus security trade magazines. That's another element of it. I think we're attending some specific trade shows related to campus safety. And I think we have some national coverage or some mainstream media coverage coming up on it. I think I have an interview this week or something. So it's like I said, it's a full 360 campaign, but it's within how we do things from a guerrilla style. And by guerrilla, I mean we try to pay for as little as possible, and we look for as much organic coverage as possible. And in this case, it's easier than in other RAD solutions because the solution resonates so deeply with different types of people that they can carry the torch. So yeah, that campaign started this month.
Okay. Here's another question from Shark's mom too. Residential home security, is it still in the works? If so, could you expect your product to replace Ring doorbells or perhaps complement them?
I mean, I have some plans. They're much too immature, early stage to really talk about right now. So I also, don't like overtly fueling speculation until things become a little bit more real. So, I'll give you just the response consistent with when I've been asked the question previously. I've got plans. We haven't executed on them. We've got a ton of work to do right now, that we've got to plow through because of, the events of the show really accelerated demand for Rosas, Nevas, and Romeos for that matter. So I do a lot of focus there. And as we plow through those products, I'll keep an eye on the resi side. Folks should know that some of the stuff that we're doing with Rad G and our perception team within Rad proper all build up to that. So it's not something, like we're not a ring where you have $1 billion in the bank and I could just throw 1,000 engineers at it. We got to continue to work our way through and grind through to get to that point. But it's all in the strategy. So particularly on the camera tech, the perception tech, and how we're building our stacked sandwich boards that power everything, all of that floats to higher volume devices that would play well in consumer, but we're not there.
Okay. Here's a question that was sent to me via direct message. I was wondering, with the debt of the company, how are you and your team managing that? And is it going to be a reversal if all goes to plan?
A reversal as in, I don't know what that means. This is speculative. I can't predict. I can't predict stock action.
Okay.
What I can say is check subsequent events in the forthcoming K as far as how we're handling debt. Very important to check that. So I definitely will repeat that. Check subsequent events. Other than that, there's nothing I can disclose in this type of context. You'll have to wait. You'll have to wait for the K. What I will say, again, consistent with what I've said over the past year, is I'm looking at this fiscal year, which started March 1st, to significantly improve the balance sheet and the income statement for that matter. So you'll see the first moves that I made in that area in subsequent events of the K.
Okay. Here's a question from Let's Go. Have you or would you consider reducing some of the outstanding shares? Have you or are you considering options to offer shareholders an opportunity to lock up shares in preferred category, which will further reduce AITX's outstanding shares?
Okay, so the first part of that question is, will I consider reducing outstanding shares? So it doesn't work like that. I can't wake up one morning and say, hey, I'm going to file some papers and outstanding shares are down. You own all the outstanding shares. And by you, I mean the AITX community in general. So there's no reducing outstanding shares without doing a reverse, which, we've beat to death and filed official paperwork and an 8K about. So, no, I wouldn't say that there's any plans whatsoever to reduce outstanding shares via any manner, in any way at this moment. So that's a solid no. And then the preferred piece, again, it's not for retail and preferred shares. I haven't sold any of those for years now, and I don't want to. And again, that would be something that would only be available to accredited and institutional investors anyway. So no, I would ask whoever asked that question to, maybe brush up on finance and securities a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question from Pank. Steve, it seems that the public perception and acceptance of robotic and automated security units, especially robotic dogs, has been neutral at best and negative at worst. How does Rad plan to market and implement these devices in a way that is more public friendly than competitors?
What was the first sentence in that question? The first part of that question?
It seems that public perception and
Yeah.
acceptance of robotic and automated security units.
Okay. So, Pank, hey man, good to see you, hear you, or I don't know if you're male or female, but good to see you. It's a tough question because it's speculative. For the basis of the question is an assumption that public perception is neutral or negative at best on, automated or robotic devices, and it would require me to speculate to answer the question. So I don't. I can't answer it because the nature of the question. But I would say that we have done, as you've seen already, a great job of messaging our solutions, well to the security community, and by extension to public. And we're going to continue that. We're not going to do stupid stuff, like send robot dogs with police forces to go, chase down homeless people, right? You're never going to find that. Those who have been following me for a long time know that we're very sensitive on the optics. We feel that we have the extra responsibility of creating this industry responsibly, and we'll continue to do that.
Okay. Next question comes kind of combined from T. Schuschman and Pank. Are there any plans in the works for a mobile unit that is smaller than Romeo for security monitoring, either indoor or outdoor?
Yes.
Okay. Next one comes from the Black Pearl. Steve, back in November, there was a PR for a major electric utility company.
Yes.
First for that industry, which I think can be huge. Have those units been deployed, and is there any feedback yet?
Yes. The client received the Rosa and the Ava in March. I had a call with them a couple weeks ago. We're deepening engagement, going through the process together in April. So, that's on schedule. Since then, a couple of additional utility firms have popped up. I haven't placed orders yet, but I expect them. So very exciting in that space. Just a slow burn, big clients, lots of regulation. Sales process is much slower than in other parts of industry.
Okay, that answers the next question. Darwin 1993. I have 5 simple questions to ask.
5.
Any updates on the big orders?
You got to wait for the PRs. Everything's moving forward.
Okay. Next question from him.
But I'll share with you that if I had them, we'd PR them. So, we're all waiting. Like, we're we're waiting. We talk about it all day long, but where are we at? Da, 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 da. So everything's still in play. It's just a little frustrating that it's taking longer than we had hoped.
Any information about the other airports?
Well, we have Dallas Love Field, right? So that's been very well publicized by investors and security industry members. So that's out there. Second airport, which is really the first airport, has been dragging. I believe that they're going in finally in April, is what I'm told. A couple of them may have already gone in this past week. I don't know. I've been out of touch on the operations side a little bit.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, exciting one. Yeah.
With supply chain issues and prices rising, are the prices of the products the same or have they gone up?
No, our pricing hasn't changed. Our
Okay.
sale pricing hasn't changed. When you're doing small batch manufacturing like we are, you're largely buying parts at a pretty high price to begin with. So despite logistics challenges and increased price ranges, our aspirational costs to build are still significantly less than our current. We have a long way to go to continue to build efficiencies on the costing, on the purchasing side.
Okay. Any update on Project S?
Project S, a couple of weeks, by mid-April for sure. Craig, I know you're involved in Project S with me. Is that consistent with what you
Yeah,
know?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, next couple weeks, I think, is
Yeah.
what we talked about.
Okay. So there you go. It's going to be interesting, guys. Project S is going to be interesting. Project S is a tentative move forward into something that's potentially more exciting. So I'll do all that proper messaging as the project gets announced.
Okay. Next question from Marino Joe. In the current state, team, and resources, how many roses can be manufactured and deployed monthly?
Hey, Joe. Glad to see you on the questions here. It's not a set number. It's a variable number, and it's based on a few different things, right? It's based on, when are those 1,000 shells going to get in? Because right now we're using, faster turn local injection molding companies in order to pump out smaller batches of shells. It has to do with how we're doing on staffing. Are we continuing to grow the build staff? Are all the other parts coming in, because we've got the Rad G boards that are being produced and are being continuously developed. The first roses come out with the first board, and we got to get up to the 0.3 board, which is kind of the accumulation of that particular project. So there's 3 more versions, significant versions that have come out. So, there's just a lot of balls in the air to factor it. Now, aspirationally, we want to get to the point where we could do 100 units a month, 100 roses built and delivered a month, aspirationally. Right now, as I mentioned, some of those factors are still up in the air, so it varies.
Okay. Next question from Oscar. How many of the meetings that you were in Vegas had potential Fortune 100 to 500 clients?
A significant number of them, of the ones that I was involved in, for sure. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. That specific number I haven't matched up against any of the F500 lists that are out there. But I don't think that I was involved in any client meetings for insignificant clients.
Okay. And to follow up to that, how many of these companies expressed interest and requested follow-up calls and meetings?
100% of them.
Wow.
I was actually going to tweet something yesterday. I'll read it to you because I had prepped it because I had to scrub, the company names and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll read it to you live on the call here. Okay, this is real email. All right, I actually scrubbed. You can see I scrubbed out the the names, see the black areas,
Mhm.
right? So I was going to tweet it last night, but I was like, yeah, I'll read it to you. Hi, Steve. So sorry to reach out on the Friday of the show. I can only imagine how exhausted you must be. Yeah, no, I'm exhausted. We're very excited about working with Rad, however, so I wanted to get my information out to you as quickly as possible. Um, as a reminder, me and blah, 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 discuss deployment, blah, 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 as well as other opportunities. So he goes on, you talk about the opportunities, he's selling me. And then it says, the first thing we need to do is get you set up as an authorized vendor. So I've included XYZ from our sourcing team, if possible, set up a call, blah, 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 blah. Really looking forward to getting this started. Thanks again. Have a great weekend, right? So this is a significant client who is so energized and excited that they can't wait for our outreach. They're taking it upon themselves to make sure that they don't get lost in the shuffle because they know that we captured a lot of really active and interesting leads. So that's just an example of how quickly some customers want us to go, which of course is music to our ears, because the sales cycle and finding ways to get through the sales cycle faster has been a challenge for the last couple of years. So yeah, it's going well. And I'm sure that our guys have other messages like that as well. That's the one I pulled though.
Yeah, getting on that approved vendors list is big. Speeds the process up a lot.
Yeah, well, that's the process we go with everybody.
Yeah.
Like it's just because the client class that we're dealing with just have requirements. You have to go through it. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff like that in the works right now.
Good. Next question from R. Bob. What are the top 3 to 5 major catalysts you see in the pipeline for the next 3 to 6 months? They don't have to be sales, just key milestones the company has a pathway to achieve.
This is a great one, and as much as AITX is kind of a bit of a, fourth industrial revolution company, and we're doing new things and cool things, at the end of the day, we still got to build and deliver great product. So milestones for us will be, improving production to the point where we're able to put out large numbers of devices. We got a really cool machine in the other day, which again, I was going to tweet, but I haven't yet, which is like a 99% return on investment. Like it literally paid for itself the first day. It was amazing. We're going to have a farm full of those. So I want to see milestones. I want to see more orders coming in more regularly, of course, right? It starts with the orders, starts with customers needing our stuff. And that allows us to fulfill some of the investments we're making in the production side and get the units out, right? So have more of that regularity. Those are 2 important milestones. On the tech side, I mentioned earlier the Rad Pack boards have to go through some continuous evolution to get to that 0.3 version. So I want to see that happen. I have a Romeo number in mind that I want to get out the door this fiscal year. So that's a milestone for me. I want to hit 500. I want to hit 1,000. Those are milestones. We're gonna, I'm trying to balance revenues and expenses, and we really gotta get up and past the 100 employee mark. Right now, we're probably sitting 81, 82 or so. So we got to keep adding people and building great product. And those are a handful of milestones for me that I'm looking at and measuring. I hope those make sense.
Mm-hmm. Here's one from YouTube. Denoris Hayes. In the future, will the different companies' RAD devices be interoperable with each other? If so, will geofence location technology be used?
Denoris, hey man, keep grinding. Keep grinding. They're all interoperable together right now. And Rad Light My Way and Romeo both feature fairly extensive use of geofencing as part of their operating procedures. So we're there right now.
Next question comes from Dewey. Steve, is there any feedback from Six Flags about the Romeo performance?
Nothing that I would say publicly. We're very tight with them and communications and stuff. So I won't go over my skis. They'll be vocal when the time is right.
Okay. Next question from Dewey. At the expo, were you approached with interest from any other industries that you hadn't considered marketing before?
No, The show was overwhelmingly security and facility focused. I don't know if any, I mean, I've been going to show for 25 years, and it's security and facilities. It's not a generalist show in any way, shape, or form. So everybody was there was security and facilities.
Next question from Pank. Are there any plans to open up public APIs to any of the Rad software for third-party developers to utilize?
Kinda. You all know the Rad G is really an OEM play of making the software and hardware available to third parties. So that's why I say kinda. I mean, we're not opening up software APIs so people can design their own interfaces or do stuff like that, but we're opening them up for people to use in concert with other products and their own designed solutions. That's what we got there.
Okay. Next question from the Black Pearl. Steve, the U.S. has many military bases from both stateside and overseas. A lot of them are also filled with contractors. They eat up a large chunk of DoD budget. Any ins in the military branches right now?
None. No ins, no efforts right now.
Okay. Next one comes from Look for the Helpers. Hi, Steve. First of all, thank you very much for making the time to answer these questions. It is very much appreciated. Looking at the calendar year sales, it have been PR this year. It looks like the number of units that have been sold this calendar year is 27 units, which seems down compared to the same time period of last calendar year when 40 units have been sold. Even if you account the Romeo sold in January as equivalents to 10 roses, the numbers are still slightly down compared to the same time period as last year. Considering the sales team has grown approximately to 8 people, and there are now 30 plus dealers, is averaging 9 units sold every month a level of sales that you and investors should consider satisfactory?
Well, first of all, we've got 7 full-time salespeople, so that's that number correction there. As far as what investors should find satisfactory, again, speculative, I can't answer. I mean, some will be happy with the growth, and some will be happy with the quality, and some will, want 15,000 orders a month, or, they're going to bitch. So again, speculative is not a question I can answer. It's a complex question for me because this isn't a situation where we're already set up to build and deliver, 100 units a month, and this factory's sitting there idle, and we're trying to figure out what to do. This past 6 months and 12 months have been incredibly not difficult, but they've been huge growth months, right? We've gone from 1 or 2 salespeople to 6 or 7. We've gone from small assembly location in California to a huge manufacturing facility in Detroit. We've done incredible staffing. We've revolutionized our product line. So, sales obviously is critical, but where are we at in the business cycle? So the way I see it is we muddled along for a few years, working on this concept of autonomous remote services that we have, and working on the products and how the software works, and talking to clients about it and adjusting and working to raise money. And then we kind of hit it, and we grew fast. We grew the back end. You got to build the back end first, and that's where we're at right now. Am I happy with the sales? No. But am I glad that it's working out this way? Yes. Because if we had been swamped with sales, we would have had a series of challenges that we might not have been able to recover from. Now we're at the point where hopefully this swamp of sales will start coming, and we'll be ready for it. So it kind of feels like it worked for a particular reason. I don't know. And anyway, I feel really comfortable now with the sales funnel, with the speed of sales going through the funnel, with our ability to produce and implement and satisfy customers and keep our attrition rate super low. So I'm not overly worried about it. If the quality of the conversation with our prospects, dealers, and end users was poor, if we couldn't get people on the phone, if there's a host of other indicators that would create a worry for me, and I don't have that. I have just the opposite of it. In my role, it's my job, one of my jobs, to say, hey, why are sales moving slowly? And then we dive into it, but you don't pull the ripcord after a slower quarter. You take a look at it, you build around it, and you keep grinding forward.
Okay. He's got some more follow-up questions to sales. Can you talk about any long-term measures that are being taken to make the sales team more productive? Is marketing focused on generating the highest quality leads for sales team to follow up on?
I mean, the productivity of our sales team has increased exponentially over the past few months. There's no question there. So certainly it's something that you never stop trying to improve and refine. That's an ongoing process. We'll be a 50-year-old company, and that process will still continue. So that answer is yes, of course. The second one is marketing there to drive leads, not necessarily as their entire role. Marketing does a lot. Marketing creates collateral, creates communications. Marketing deals with marketing departments on customer sides. Marketing is involved in a bunch of cool stuff that nobody even knows yet, but will be pretty magnificent. Marketing talks to media. Marketing does a whole lot of stuff, including driving sales. But at the end of the day, marketing is a support role for sales. So when we do get somebody in the funnel, we got to have all the communications and everything perfect along the way. So marketing does a lot of that stuff. So yes, there could be that stereotype of the marketing guy having a 3 martini lunch with a fancy scarf around his neck or something like that, right? Not our marketing guys. Our marketing guys are humping 14 hours a day making things happen. So I really think that part of the reason why ISC West was such a huge success for us was the marketing that we did prior. So just an example of some of the things that marketing does.
Okay. Last question from him. Is there time dedicated for each team member to pursue certifications, get training on new techniques, and like group analysis of each other's performance and other measures that may make them more productive?
Yeah. It's not necessarily formalized, but it's in our culture of our company. So yeah, no, it's a very strong yes on that. That's part of the reasons why we have such an engaged team member base, and why we get such high productivity. I mean, I'm sure everybody saw that I made a decision to give everybody in the company the day off tomorrow, right? I mean, who does that, right? But just kind of, us being us, we're going to do what we feel when the time is right. We're not, hamstrung by, the MBAs who run the place. Like I don't have an MBA, I just have a bachelor's, and then I got a lot of other experience. But we're just a very connected company with our team members, and our number one job is to enable what their hopes and dreams are. That's how we get engagement. It's an easy formula.
Okay. Next question comes from YouTube, Jeff Ishmael. When is your next big show / event happening?
We have a few smaller shows happening over the course of the year. I don't recall what they are right now. We have what would be considered a bigger show, not bigger than ISC West. ISC West is the biggest. But we have the GSX show in Orlando in September. I don't know offhand what our footprint is at that show. It's a smaller show. It's about 2/3 the size of ISC West, but it's a good show nonetheless. Those are two shows that I kind of keep my eye on. And then, like I said, we have a bunch of regional and industry-specific shows happening throughout the year as well.
Okay. Next question comes from the Black Pearl. Why haven't we sold many Wally HSOs? And I would have assumed with the pandemic that we have sold many more. Any reason for that?
Well, I mean, it's speculative, right? Like, why didn't we sell more? I don't know. Customers didn't put in orders, right? Like, that's the easiest answer there. the pandemic was a very interesting time. We came up with solutions like the face mask analytic and this and that, right? What I found, and this is my opinion response, right? This isn't necessarily factual response from the AITX, is collectively it felt like business leaders and decision makers really just wanted to put their head down, just kind of get through this, limit mitigating investments. It was one of those things like, I don't know if you were like this, Craig, growing up, but like growing up in Canada, October would come and it get cold and I'd still wear my shorts. I'd be like ignoring that winter is coming, right? The same kind
Yeah.
of thing. It felt like that with COVID. People like, if I don't do anything, then maybe COVID's going to go away. It's not real. So I felt that as a general attitude. I will say though that the Wally HSO deployments that we did, which we did globally, I think at the beginning of the year we shipped a couple units to Europe actually, just as a matter of fact. So they're still selling. Uh, got they're continued to be used to a crazy extent. 2,000-3,000 people a day have to go through them in order to get to work, which is huge. And the client actually came by on Friday. A different person from that same client came by. I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm not in that division. I'm in this division." So a huge company, leading American global company, and it was good. I'm glad that we helped them. I'm glad that they loved it. I'm glad that we're continuing that relationship, and I'm hoping COVID's done. And like I said from the very beginning, which is another reason why we didn't really push the Wally HSO product that much. I think the whole temperature scanning thing personally was dumb to begin with because asymptomatic produce, it's like, it was just it was window dressing, the people had to do it. So I never, the solution never had my heart and soul in it, unlike other solutions. So that was another reason why we didn't push it and likely sell as many.
Okay. Are there any plans on loading Wally up with additional options for helping in the medical field?
No, not right now. We're continuing to refine Wally as it is. We've got to get the announced Wally 3.0 out, and that's going to be pretty good. Folks were at the show. They saw Rad Dog 3.0 showing on Ava 3.0. So we've got to get that pushed out to all the existing units as well. So. Still a lot to do before we get funky creative on that.
Okay. Next question comes from Vindictionary. On May 10th, 2021, there was a PR for a large global retailer, later revealed to be 7-Eleven, who ordered 17 units as a pilot program. In this PR, it stated successful application of the Rad solution in this environment can lead up to 300 additional deployments within the next 12 months. And then on September 22nd, there was an additional order for 2 units. As we are closing in on 12 months from the first PR, what is the current situation with this end user? Has the pilot program been successful? And are you currently anticipating more orders from this end user in the near future?
Pilot program has been incredibly successful, and we are expecting significant orders in the near future.
That's good to hear. There has been one PR of a device deployed to a financial institution. Has there been any more interest from the financial sector?
I don't know. I'm not close enough on that opportunity. I'm sorry.
Do you know if any sales have been attributed to the Rad DPS phone app yet?
I don't know. DPS came, hit like a storm, which was great, which is what we wanted. I haven't checked its usage stats lately, so I don't know how often it's being used right now. It's there's things I do from time to time that, might have a game within a game type of motive. And DPS was one of them. Putting it out into the hands of retail investors allowed me to see usage, how they're using it, where they thought applications should go. It allowed us to thoroughly test the software, in terms of rollout to the dealers who are the ultimate consumers for it, or the expected ultimate consumers for it. So I'm really happy with how DPS went. It was a great point of engagement. From a sales standpoint, I never had high expectations that DPS would garner high quality leads. So the leads that I saw that came in through DPS is like, hey, this is a sketchy corner. I'm going to put a Scott here, check it out, and give these guys a call, right? Like you know, it takes much more for a sale to happen or for even a lead to be qualified. But what it did is it helped educate a segment of the investor community and a segment of the public on what's coming down the line. So I'm overall very happy with the DPS application. Yeah, very much so, and you'll see continued development on it
Okay.
as the years go on. That's again, I've had that app for a long time. We've developed it, and it'll keep growing.
On November 15th, 2021, there was a PR of a Romeo being ordered for a deployment within a major Hollywood studio. In this PR, it states that this dealer had committed up to 20 Romeo units in a prior letter of intent. How has this deployment gone, and are you expecting more Romeo orders soon?
Yeah, we're expecting more Romeo orders soon. The Romeo hasn't been deployed yet. It's another photo that I didn't post yet, but it's on the blocks being built right now. So we're building, Detroit is up and running now with Romeos now that it built the Red Hawk unit. So we've got 3 Romeos up on blocks right now getting built. Yeah, that's exciting. When a client came by or the dealer came by, actually came to our happy hour on Tuesday night as well. So he's been a long time supporter. I've known him 25 years, for 25 years as well. So no, that's going to be a good one. And I think, but I have so many client meetings in my head. I don't want to cross the streams, but I think we're talking about at least getting another one relatively quickly as well, which is interesting.
Okay. We have a question from YouTube and then a couple that are the same from the Discord. What can you say about Mr. Frugals Investor last video when he said that AITX has enough money to last the next 60 days? I don't know if you saw it. It came out last night.
I didn't see it, but I would say that that's definitely very, very wrong. I wouldn't know how he would get that information. That information is really only available to me, our CFO, and our controller. We would be the only 3 people in the world that would know how much money is in our bank and what our exact burn is. And it's a ridiculous statement. Quite frankly, it's almost it's surprising to me because I'm a huge fan of his. Not that I watch all of his stuff, but I'm a huge fan of his. I like how he does his breakdown and analysis. But that comment is horribly speculative and almost irresponsible. It's irresponsible because there's no way that he would have access to that information to make that claim.
Okay.
And it's wrong anyway.
Yeah. On January 13th, there was a PR that was mentioned, a memorandum of understanding with one of the nation's largest vehicle retailers.
Yeah.
Any update on that?
Yeah, shipping by the end of April. Yeah, very excited about it. Yeah.
Next one from Marino Joe. How is Rad Dog coming along, and was it displayed at Vegas?
Wasn't displayed at Vegas. It's in production. I mean, Ghost has a lot of work to do still on it, which is fine. It's still on target. I'm just gotta stay tuned. It's coming.
Okay, we've got a couple more minutes left. Here's one from Bo. On January 10th, 2022, Rad enters into a relationship with one of North America's leading communication companies to private label Rad Solutions.
Yeah.
So complete details of the communications company marketing launch is expected in the first half of 2022. Is that calendar year June or Rad fiscal year August?
If I made that statement that way in a press release, I would have meant calendar year, because most people expect that the calendar year is when we say first half, whatever. Just so everybody knows, I'll specify fiscal year when I mean fiscal year, and that's generally related to financial results or performance. Otherwise, we use calendar year, and I know it's confusing. It's confusing to all of us as well. It's a pain in the ass, but we're not changing it because it's too much effort for too little gain. I have in my hand their card right now. So, um, you like that? Okay. Um, yeah. So we had private meeting in my suite on Thursday morning, and they're one of my high priority follow ups that I'm going to follow up on personally as well. So, really happy with how the meeting went. High level, where we needed to be. Um, I I can't I can't say if that time frame from the summer, from the January press release is still in shape. I can't say that because I don't control it, obviously. And at the time, that was certainly what my expectation was. There seems to be like trying to figure out kind of where we're going, right? Because on the one hand, he's telling this particular senior guy is telling me that when these guys do things, they go, big and blah, 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 blah. And that takes time. And on the other hand, I was showing him how getting involved in Rad can be relatively low effort, and we can start making some headway now. And there's some specific opportunities that we have happening with their clients. So that garnered a lot of interest. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, I'm really happy with the Thursday meeting. Everybody should know, nothing ever moves fast enough for me. So I always want things to move faster, and that one's no exception.
Okay. Follow up to that. Is there any product being produced, stocked, or shelved at any of these locations yet?
You froze on me. I heard, is there any product being produced, and I lost it.
Okay. Is there any product being produced, stocked, or shelved that will be offered through the hundreds of salespeople and positioned at the dozens of retail outlets?
I expect so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're expecting their first PO, this coming month. It's like a partial stocking, demo, whatever. It's a nice order. It's going to be a nice order. Yeah, that's supposed to come in. That'll help first. Well, we probably won't ship it Q1, but it'll help when the revenues do hit. It'll be a nice press release in any case, showing
Right.
progress.
A couple more questions before we got to leave. Riot Cracking Skulls asks, how many units do you estimate deployed by July?
Deployed by July this summer?
Yeah.
I don't know. Too speculative for me.
Okay. With employees going back to work, do you expect demand for AI-driven security to wane?
No, I expect demand to increase. The main reason is there are not enough employees to go to work. So the demand for our devices, our automated employees, continues to skyrocket exactly under those circumstances.
Okay.
You got to remember, we're short millions of workers that will never return and are not being born. We're, we're in a massive employee crisis.
Okay. Here's a last question. One from Profits. How do you see the sentiment for AITX stock with a falling share price? Interested to see how you turn the ship around to gain back investors' trust to put money in a maxed out ASOS, whether or not you know of how a lot of experts view AITX stock. Nothing wrong with the company products and growth, but how do investors benefit from a falling share price, which anyone could look at the chart to see?
That feels like Discord speculative chatter. So, fall in stock price. So what I'm assuming that references is, when we were valued at $1 billion a year ago, was that really the right stock price at the time? I mean, was there really any fundamentals that you could judge that on? It's for the market to decide, not me. But I'm not the right guy to ask about fall in stock price. We've been maintaining a $75 million market cap for a considerable amount of time. We've, I mean, I don't even know where to respond. It's just hit me with the question again, if you would, please.
All right, let me get it back up.
Now, I don't know how many, while you pull that up, I don't know how many watchers we have. I don't have the YouTube page up, But I really hope, I ask everybody watch that ISC West presentation that I tweeted yesterday as part of the weekly video. Good stuff. I'm going to keep pumping that piece for a while because it's easy to watch, it's easy to understand. And I think I need to get to a certain view count on it until I feel that their core community has been suitably informed. Okay, so let's break down that question again from profits. I know we're right at the
Yeah.
stop time, but I want to address it. So let's go first sentence first,
All
please.
right. How do you see the sentiment for AITX stock with a falling share price?
It's super speculative. I mean, we're still a top 25, top 50 trading OTC stock day after day, week after week in general. So how am I supposed to say that sentiment is down based on that statistic, right? So, but again, it's speculative. It's not worth. I'm not in the business of arguing, that either the stock has fallen or that momentum is down. I would say that we've got an incredible base of active and engaged and informed retail investors who know what's going on, and that's who I cater to. So those are the people that are in the business. And so I don't see, substantial negative sentiment that has any basis. So the stock fell down, stock goes up, stock goes down. I can only do what I can do. Okay, what was the second sentence?
Interested to see how you turn the ship around to gain back investors' trust to put money in a maxed out ASOS.
Okay, let's stop right there. I don't know what this turn the ship around business is about. I think the ship has been headed in the right direction for quite some time, and it'll continue to head in the right direction. So, if this person means ship as we're going to move this stock into billions of dollars categories, I don't know how long that'll take. So again, it's just not a question for me per se. What's the next part of that sentence?
Whether or not you know of how a lot of experts view the stock, nothing wrong with the company, products, and growth. But how do investors benefit from a falling share price?
If this person thinks that the price has fallen, and again, people always ask me questions. Hey, the stock is this, the stock is that, and the answer is maybe, definitely per your view, but everybody thinks they speak for the market at large, or they speak for all the investors at large, and that's completely, incorrect. Aside from being just arrogant and over the top, we've got investors that came in at 0001. Tell me that the stock has fallen for those guys and girls, for that matter. So again, I can't address it. It's not a question for me. It's a question for chat rooms and Discord and so forth. That was the second part of that last sentence. What was the first part of that sentence?
Nothing wrong with the company's products and growth. But yeah, how do the investors benefit from a falling share price, which anyone could look at the chart to see?
Okay, I addressed the fallen share price thing. That's subjective, depending on where you stand, and where you can benefit from the fallen share price. Again, it's subjective. Do you feel that the share price is low? Then maybe it's a good investment. Do you feel the share price is high? Then maybe it's not. And I'm still confused as to how the question worked in the maxed out OS or AS. I just, you can tell I got a problem with the question. It's not a question for me.
Okay. I know we're over a couple of minutes. You want to just end here and then
let's go maybe one or two more. I don't want to end on that one.
Okay. So here's one from YouTube. Any more info on uplisting to the QB and then NASDAQ?
Yeah, sure. So as I've said many times, we continue to be on schedule. As soon as the K is filed, and at this moment, okay, hear my words, at this moment, we should be filing before the end of April. At this moment, subject to change. But that's what they're telling me. Obviously, we have till June, but we're getting better at everything that we do, and everything that we do is better, as you can see. So I'd really like to prove that by getting the K out within 60 days of what it needs to be. And then as soon as the K is out, we'll file the application to uplist to the QB. NASDAQ, there's certain things in play, again, with Nightscope maintaining its value of, roughly $300 million if you include all the shares that they've got authorized or outstanding. It continues to play into our minds. So always things can happen positively, at least for us. Um, but I don't want to dive into it too much because it'll lead to potentially unfounded speculation. But know that the QB application is on schedule, and the Nightscope situation has opened up some new opportunities for us that I'm working through.
Okay. And Mr. Frugal is actually on the YouTube chat, and he did say that the question was taken out of context.
Okay, thank you. I figured as much. I couldn't imagine that you'd say such a thing. So thank you for that. And I I probably should have, in fact, not probably, but I definitely should have taken that question as inconsistent with your character and quality of due diligence, and I should have questioned whether or not you had said that. So apologies for attacking the question, and thanks for clearing it up.
Yeah, his video came out sometime yesterday. I watched it earlier this morning.
I'll watch it. Mr. Frugal, I hope you watched the Saturday lecture that I gave on Tuesday. I think I think everybody will like it. My wife sat in the crowd. She liked it, but she's a big fan. Thank goodness. Anyway, I'm glad that you're there. I haven't been looking at the chat, so I don't know. Guys, it's so funny because we've so much going on, and I've always said that no matter how much we've got going on, no matter how big we get, I'll continue to engage the exact way that you've always seen me do. I really feel at this moment, I see it, that maybe that proverbial dam has been broken. And maybe we'll get, 1,000 orders this year. Maybe we'll be able to come, cash flow positive. But they're really fascinating times. Stock price up, stock price down. The company continues to improve every day, every single day. So I talk about it with our executive team on, a minute by minute basis, and especially the originals from, who helped build the company. Everybody is just ecstatic. The product is beautiful. The response is amazing. We were seeked out by dozens and dozens of clients. I have in my hand a stack of business cards that I'm following up on. This one, huge Fortune 500 company. This one, an even larger one. I mean, like the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And I wasn't even the guy collecting the business cards or scanning the badges. I was just being, bounced around, meet these people, run around, say hi, da, 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 da. So it was tiring. I think about the Monday day off that I gave, and my instinct is always to work and to grind. This is how I'm built. I like it. I like it, at least in this stage of my life. I love what we do, and I love our team. And the video that we posted of Mark and I announcing the day off thing, that was like, we kind of talked about it for a minute. I'm like, okay, you say this, and then we're just gonna bandy back and forth. It wasn't scripted per se. But it's kind of like, I like to work. Monday, tomorrow, I'll be doing some work, but I got to sit down and recharge. The whole company has to sit down and recharge. We got to gain our strength. We got a huge year ahead of us, and I literally couldn't be happier. The team, the AITX community that has been with me for this time, that has encouraged and supported and shared. Listen, I'm always here. I'll always be available. I look forward to this stock doing amazing things for you and for me. Remember, I'm the largest holder, not of commons, but of the preferred. So it's all the same thing for me. But we're having fun. We're doing the right things, and we'll continue to steer this company in this direction. So anyway, thank you very, very much, everybody. Craig, great job. Thanks for all you do. By the way, we had a bunch of board of advisors at the show, of course.
Mhm.
One of them who's just a ridiculous industry superstar, literally worked the booth all day Wednesday, bringing in, like, he brought in two of these major companies. He brought them in, to the booth. And I had substantial conversations with them, and they're now strong in the funnel.
That's huge.
Yeah. So we had a lot of stuff going on. It was great.
All right, Steve, I'd like to thank you for taking your time out of this busy day to answer questions for the AITX community and Rad Army. Please like, subscribe, and sign up for notifications, and check out the other YouTube videos on this channel, especially the one he posted yesterday on Saturday. Also check out the AITX.ai website, radlightmyway.com, radsecurity.com, and make sure to follow Steve on Twitter at Steve Reinhardt.
And I've got some content on Instagram too, for folks who like Instagram. Check it out. I'm trying to post content there, so you'll see me there. But thank you very, very much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Tomorrow, I believe there is press coming out, pre-market. I forget which one it is, but there'll be at least 2 press releases this week as well.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.